So you're a busy landscape contractor and you just got a new hire. Congratulations. You've got somebody now who's going to help you with your season, get more projects done, increase your profits, and hopefully lead to more cash in your account at the end of the year. That's amazing, and we're ready to roll. Now, before you get to the job site, a lot of contractors out there, I find, miss out on something that's really, really important. And today I'm going to talk about the 5 things you need to have in your onboarding package so that when that new hire shows up at the job site on day 1, you're ready to roll. All right, let's get into it. Now, first of all, what I want to talk about is what onboarding actually is. A lot of contractors out there are a little bit confused on what an onboarding package looks like or what the process is. And what I want to say is that an onboarding package is designed to give your new hire as much information about your business as possible. Things about your company culture, things about training or what they're expected, all this stuff that they might need to know on day 1. The sooner you can get it to them, the better prepared they're going to be. At the end of the day, I've heard there's 2 different ways to onboard people, and I've tried them both. I can tell you which one I like better. First way to do the onboarding, and I've heard it from a lot of contractors, first day when the new hire shows up. And I've heard guys say things like, oh, that first week is a write-off. Oh, it's a pain. We don't get anything done. It takes my time away from it, and it's a headache. And it's like, no wonder you guys have a hard time hiring new people. If that's the way that you feel about a new hire, that it kills time and it just takes away from your week and all that, that's a lot of friction in actually getting a new hire going. Not to mention what that does to your team. So if you think about onboarding them on day 1, having them fill in all this paperwork and try and tell them what to do, what to expect and bring them in, it's a lot to do and it doesn't work very well. The second way to do it, which is the way I did it for many, many years in my business when I was successful running my landscape business over the last 14 years, starting it, scaling it, and exiting it, was actually to provide a package to them ahead of schedule. Sometimes as much as 2, 3, 4 weeks ahead of time, where we started to go over a lot of the important things like paperwork and what to expect and all these things beforehand, instead of it happening on day 1 when they show up. When I transitioned to that way of doing it, I had less lost time on site and new crew members came in better prepared and the existing crew members were more welcoming. All right, let's get into it. So the top 5 things that you have to have in your onboarding package. Okay, the first one is compliance. So compliance is usually very heavily paperwork related. And this is where you outline things like your rules, your procedures and policies. And it's usually done in a way where they have to read it and then either initial or sign at the bottom saying that they acknowledge what it is. Now, this sounds quite boring and it often is. It's not something that you necessarily want to wait until day 1 on, because if you do it on day 1, how much time are you going to spend with them going over it, talking about it, going back and forth, and them signing it when they should actually be on the job site, getting to know the crew and actually making you some money? That's why we're bringing in a new hire. So this is something, compliance, that we get out of the way in the beginning in our onboarding package that I would usually deliver to the new hires, again, electronically a few weeks ahead of time. And number 2, clarification. This is the portion of our onboarding package where we actually outline more details about the job, things that we're expecting the new hire to do, things that we're expecting them to bring on day 1, what kind of jobs they're actually going to be doing in the first week. The more information we can give them in this clarification section, regardless of whether or not it's in one section in our onboarding package or spread throughout the entire thing, the better prepared that they're going to be when they show up on day 1, and likely the more confidence they're going to have coming to the job site on day 1, which is going to help them fit in better and increase your productivity on day 1. Now, remember in this section, I think it's also really important to encourage your new hires to ask for clarification from you as the employer as to what their role is. Don't forget to have a section in there that says, if you have any questions, let us know. And it could be as simple as your email. You send them the offer in the email says, if you have any questions at all about what's expected of you, please let us know. And then give them a few days and send them a follow-up and say, hey, I'm just checking in again. Have you got any questions about the onboarding package? Is there anything in here that you're not sure about? What you need on day 1, what you need in the first week? Please let us know. This is the opportunity for them to get to know you a little bit more and understand that it's okay and it's safe to ask questions. Because when new hires ask questions, they learn more and they learn quicker. And that's what you want to offer. And that's what you want to actually encourage in your new hires. Now, number 3 is culture. You want to make sure that you include information about your company culture in your onboarding package. I know you gave them some information usually with the job offer, and that may be how you include it in your onboarding package as well as a copy of their job offer. But I really think that you should get into a little bit more information about what is actually important to your company. Like talk about your mission statement or your vision statement. Talk about where you want the company to go to. Talk about what the importance of team building is and how everybody works together within the business. Again, this can be a small paragraph paragraph or two or a document that they read and they have to sign, whatever it may be, that is something that you include in there, because the more you tell them about why your business works the way it does, the more they're going to understand it, and likely the more passionate they're going to become about their new position. Now, one other thing in here that I think should be important to include is to talk a little bit about company behaviors and norms, what's expected, what kind of stuff is okay and what's not. I think that's a really good spot to include it too. Now, before I go on to the fourth thing, I want to say that the first 3 C's that I've talked about are things that usually go directly into the onboarding package. These are actually things you're going to deliver to the new hire before they start the job. But this next one's a little bit different. This one is actually going to be something that you implement on day 1 when they show up. And this is number 4, connection. This is the highest degree of onboarding that you can actually offer to your new hires, and it's one that gets missed quite often. It's something that, because we're so busy trying to get them in, fill in paperwork, get them trained up and get them to the site, that we kind of forget to do. And it's things like icebreakers or team building exercises on day 1 to get to know everyone. I've seen it before where new hires barely know the crew lead's name on the end of day 1, let alone anybody else. And I just don't think that's right. If these people are working together, they need to know one another and they need to be able to trust one another. Because when you're on a job site, depending on what you're doing, there are dangers around you. And I'm not trying to make this like a safety PSA, but there's stuff out there going on and you need to trust the people you work with. If you don't trust them, well, that's when the mistakes happen. That's where people get hurt, where they're not paying attention or they're not sure what's going on. So you want to build that trust as quickly as you can. And one of the best ways that I know how to do it is actually with a new guy or a new gal lunch. Okay. You get a lot of friction typically from your existing crew when you bring in a new hire, because they're like, this person's going to cause downtime. They're going to upset the schedule. We're going to get behind. And then the boss man's on my ass. This is just, I've seen it happen. So you want to be able to kind of disrupt this pattern, this behavior. And my best way to recommend doing it is through the lunch. So what you do is on day 1 with your new hire, they've already done their paperwork. They come into the job site and right away they start to meet people. You do a quick exercise on getting to know one another, and then you let them shadow somebody else on the job site. Put them with one of your, whether or not it's their most senior individual or somebody who's just really good at training, and let them have a little bit of back and forth. Let them build a little bit of a relationship, and they can work on something that isn't super intricate or time sensitive, that they can spend a little bit more time showing the new hire what to do. Then when you hit that 11:30, 12 o'clock mark, guys, that's it. It's lunchtime. Have food delivered to the job site and have a little like company lunch right then and there. Your crew gets a reward for having a new hire. Now, over time, they realize that a new hire means free lunch. It's something they look forward to, as opposed to the old way of, it's a new hire. It's going to cost me time and headaches and all this other stuff. And they're going to be more welcoming to that new hire, which is going to help build their confidence, get them seated in the group, in that crew a little bit faster, and increase your productivity that much sooner. Okay. Now we have one final thing, the very last, the number 5 that I think is important to add to the package that a lot of contractors miss. And number 5 is your goal questionnaire. This is one that so many contractors forget to include in their onboarding package, is goals. Like, what is your new hire's goals in life? Where do they want to be in 2 years? Where do they want to be 6 months from now? Like, what drives them? What do they do in their off season? What's their interest? We usually find out what a client's interests are so we can connect with them. Why not find out your new hire's interests so you can connect with them too, right? You need to build these relationships for long-term employee retention in your business, or you're going to get turnover and it's not going to be helpful for growing your business sustainably. Now, other questions that you can include in this are things like, what skill set do you have that you're very proficient in? Like, what are you good at right now, so we can get you on that in week 1. And I will say, if they have something on that list, and they should, make sure they do that on week 1. Like, let them build their confidence in a hurry. If they're really good at shooting grade, get them on a stick, get them shooting grade and setting up stuff for them right on week 1 so their confidence is up there. The other people on the crew see that they're proficient in something. And again, it's going to help towards team building. Now, the other question to include is, what skill set are you not proficient in? What do you need more education or more training on? And be honest here. This isn't because, we're going to change our mind and not hire you. This is here because we want to make sure that you get the training you need. And if one of those things is the same item, it's shooting grade, then let them follow and shadow your best grade shooter on the team. Like, why not in the very first week help them learn a new skill that's going to build their confidence, and right off the hop, you're also going to be living up to your promise of, we provide growth within the business, we provide the training that you ask for. It's also going to help nourish their own goals in learning more. They're going to find that they have a deeper relationship with you and the company. They have more passion in it, and you're going to see people stick around for longer. So there it is. You've got the top 5 things that I think you need to include in your onboarding package. You need to have your compliance. We talk about the things that they need to read and sign. We have to talk about clarification. We're going to clarify what we expect of them and what they need to have on day 1. We're going to talk about culture. That was number 3, right? What is our company culture? What are we expecting from them as far as like, how do we build this business together? What is our mission statement and what are we here to do? And then the 4th one, again, a lot of people forget about this, the connection, okay? Let's connect with our team and make sure that we have a positive work environment for everybody, especially new hires when they're coming into an environment that they're not used to. They're the new hire, they're the stranger, they're not used to the same jokes around the job site that everybody else is. So make it so that they feel comfortable on day 1. And then last thing, number 5, is the goal questionnaire. Make sure that you know what it is that they want to achieve in their career, and so that you can help fulfill those needs all the way through their career and make sure that you keep that employee for long term. Now, you may say, that's great, Andrew. Thanks for the 5 items that I need to have in my package, but those don't tell me, like, do I need this form or that form or anything else? And that's where you don't have to worry about it, because I've completed a onboarding package checklist. This checklist has got a whole bunch of items on it, things from employee manuals to certain kinds of SOPs, standard operating procedures, the questionnaire, everything else on there that you can go through, list item one at a time, check them off as you fill them in, and build that onboarding package for your new hires. Okay, the link will be below. It'll be attached in the comments, and you'll be able to start building your onboarding package right now. If you're in a point where you've already got your new hire and you're just getting this onboarding package going, then that's great. But if you actually find yourself struggling to find the new hire, the new people that you need for this season, I've actually worked with a lot of landscape contractors who had issues like this before, and we've helped work them through a series of hiring, creating application forms and onboarding forms, and then all this stuff together during our accountability. So if that's something that you're interested in, then we have that option too. Go ahead and click the link in the description below and book a 15-minute call. We'll talk about whether or not that's something we can help you with. And if it is, let's get rolling and grow your business this season.